Welcome. Today we will be helping students help themselves. My name is Gabriel, and I will be walking you through our project. We'll start with the big picture and then move into the smaller details. There is a pressing need to address burnout amongst medical professionals in Tanzania. To address this, strong evidence suggests that a meditation-based approach is not only highly effective, but also sustainable. We put together a comprehensive plan to explore and develop meditative techniques that will both adapt to the busy lives of KCMU co-students and substantially reduce their burnout symptoms. Now let's get into the small details surrounding our problem. Burnout is extremely common amongst Tanzanian medical professionals. One study found that 2/3 of emergency medical providers suffer from burnout. This starts early. A KCMU co-study found that 1 in 6 medical students screen positive for mental illness. With the rise of climate change and its ecological impacts, doctors will have to cope with re-emerging disease and more areas affected by famine and drought. This will only further their burnout. So what do we do to heal this issue? We train medical students with meditative techniques. Strong evidence suggests that a wide variety of meditative techniques can decrease anxiety from 40% up to 70%. Luckily, there seems to be no statistical difference in the type of meditation. We leverage this to allow personalization of a program that fits students' needs. We've curated an 8-week program centered on developing individualized meditative practices for each medical student. First, stigma surrounding mental health in Tanzania is broken down, which really drives home the established efficacy of meditation. Medical students will then explore and reflect upon meditative techniques to suit their individual needs. In the first week, we want to open up the dialogue and conversation around the importance of addressing mental health and prioritizing one's well-being. We aim to do this by facilitating a conversation with our speaker, Dr. Ebenezer, who will break down the stigma that students might be facing, as he was also once a student at KCMU Co. This will help relate to the lived experiences of current students. From there, weeks 2, 3, and 4 will be dedicated to teaching students evidence-based practices that will help them improve their mental health. Week 2 will be dedicated to learning yoga, week 3 for mindfulness meditation, and week 4 for breathing exercises. We then emphasize developing individualized meditative techniques from weeks 5 through 7. Every student is an individual, and we aim to help them develop a practice which suits their own needs. Additionally, students will also gather in small groups to discuss what practices they have been experimenting with during these weeks. The goal is that students can learn from each other about what works and what does not work, and then incorporate that shared knowledge into developing their individualized practices, which is sustainable. Finally, Week 8 will close out the Garden Grand rounds with a sharing of individualized practices, group feedback, and a reflection on how to keep up with the developed practices through the students' time at KCMU Co. This learning will be enhanced through utilizing the Uzima Garden. We emphasize the Uzima Garden, a green space that helps refine their approach. Exposure to green space is strongly linked with substantial decreases in stress, improvements in cognitive performance, and even lowers all-cause mortality. We take advantage of Uzima's high-quality spaces to encourage discussion between students and create an oasis for stressed students. Meditative techniques often involve movement, and what better place for that than Uzima's wide-open spaces and fresh air. There is a pressing need to support the mental health of physicians and medical students. We address this through a science-based meditative approach while leveraging Uzima's common greenery to fight back against burnout. Helping students help themselves will empower the next wave of KCMU co-physicians, which most importantly will secure the health of future patients.